Right, okay, fan reaction time then. Cardiff City 1, Burnley 2. And that last 30 minutes, I tell you that last 30 minutes were hard. When the fourth official put that board up for 5 minutes, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm not sure we're going to hang on here. And obviously, to be fair, Cardiff had that chance really, really late on, which they should have done better with. They really should have done better with. If that goes in, it's 2-2, and I can't see us coming back from that. So I think that was, the 93rd minute at that point. So, yeah, having said that, I do think on the balance of play for the full 90 minutes, we probably just about deserved it. However, that last 30 minutes, as I've said, I've already listened to Parker's post-match interview, and he's stated that Cardiff stepped on to us and they overloaded the forward areas. So then obviously we've just naturally stepped back and tried to defend the lead, but I feel like we should be doing more going forward to try and stretch the play a little bit in these moments. At that last 30 minutes, I don't think we really ventured forward once, if I'm going to be brutally honest. But just talking about the game as a whole, I thought we actually started quite well. Not initially. I thought the first 5 minutes. In fact, we had a shot on target after I think it was about 61 seconds. I remember thinking to myself like, Jesus Christ, this is not like us. But then we did get pegged back a little bit. But then we did grow into the game, and I thought for the first 35, 40 minutes that we were the better side. We were much the better side, and we deserved to be 2-0 up when we went 2-0 up. If anything, it should have been more. And obviously they get the goal. I think it's quite fortuitous, to be fair. It's a great ball, I think, from the lad, but I think the guy who heads it's his shoulder. I can't remember. I didn't really see the replays very well, but I feel like it's his shoulder, and that's why it kind of loops in over Trafford. So yeah, it's a shame to finally concede, but in a way, I'm kind of glad. Although to be fair, I said this at half time. I'm kind of glad we have conceded, but I feel like that second half performance, you could see the nerves again in that defence. I feel like the defence was the shakiest they've looked pretty much all season, if I'm being honest with you. I thought the shape was good, the defensive shape was good, but I just felt like the individuals looked a little bit nervy. But to be fair to the lads, they held on. So they may have looked nervy or nervier than they have done previously, but ultimately, no, the defensive lads got the job done and didn't concede a second. Although, as I've said already, that I'm pretty sure that chance that they had later on should have gone in, and obviously Trafford does well to close him down, to be fair, but he should be scoring from there. Yeah, I know I've referenced it already, but Zian has the chance. I can't remember whether it's that to make it 3-0 or was that to make it 2-0. I can't remember, but if that goes in and then we're 3-0 or even 3-1 up at that point, if it was after they'd scored, the game's gone. It's dead and buried, and Cardiff aren't scoring another two against this defence. But yeah, I just feel like I keep seeing people as well saying that entire second half was awful. It was dog poo and all this, and it wasn't. The last 30 minutes were. We came out in that second half. I've seen people again sort of saying what is Scott Parker saying to these lads at half time for them to come out so poorly in the second half. That's not what happened at all. In the first 10, maybe 15 minutes at a push in that second half, we were really, really, really on the front foot. Probably just as much as we were against Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously not creating as much and not scoring as much, but in that first 10, 15 minutes in that second half, we really took the game to them. And it's another shortcoming that we've had this season that was highlighted again today. We had all that pressure, we had all that territory. We properly, like I said, we're on the front foot against Cardiff, but we just didn't put it in the back of the net. And we just didn't get that goal that killed the game off. And then, as I've referenced already, which Parker referenced, they overload the front line. They then step onto us. They pump balls up there, and we just naturally get pinned back. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. It does not matter at this stage of the season. Yes, it would be nice to see us play as well as we did in that second half against Sheffield Wednesday for the entire half, rather than just the first 10 minutes, and put the ball in the back of the net as much as we did against Sheffield Wednesday. But all that matters now at this stage of the season is the result, and the fact that we are now sat here with a win in the bag, another 3 points in the bag, just 2 points off Sheffield United. They'll all be talking about us now. All the Sheffield United fans, the players, they'll have all checked the result. They're looking over their shoulder. Okay, they're also looking forward. I hate it when it does that, by the way. They're also looking forward at Leeds as well. But I feel like now they are looking back over their shoulder a little bit and thinking Burnley have won, and that's going to frustrate them a little bit. And that's just what we need to keep doing now. We just need to keep putting points on the board and making Sheffield United nervous, making Leeds nervous. Do I think we can catch Leeds? No, I don't. To be fair, I don't think we can catch Leeds. I think they're a little bit too far ahead, and to be honest, I think Leeds will probably accumulate more points between now and the end of the season than we do. But Leeds aren't the team that we're chasing. We're chasing Sheffield United. And that's all that matters now at this stage of the season. The last 30 minutes might not have been pretty, but we got the job done and we got the 3 points. And if we have to, grind, I know people, Scott Parker said we need to grind out some results in his pre-match, sort of like, not press conference because he didn't do one, but it's sort of like pre-match interview. And people do get frustrated with that, and I understand that, to be fair. I don't want us to be grinding out results like we did in that last 30 minutes. I want us to be putting teams to bed. But all that matters at this stage now is we win games. That's all that matters. And we've won tonight, like I said, with 2 points behind Sheffield Wednesday now. Ultimately, right now, that's all that matters. A couple of more points on the game. I thought Hannibal was superb. I was disappointed not to see him play on Saturday, but I completely understand it. It's a shame that he had to miss out, whereas the alleged racist didn't, and obviously we all know what happened there and won't really go into it, but it's good to see him come back despite everything and play very, very well. If anything, I thought he was in the conversation for man of the match. In fact, it's him or Brownhill for me. I thought a special mention for Cullen as well. I just thought in the first half, Cullen in the first 10-15 minutes, it did take a while to get going, did Cullen, but ultimately I did think he played well for the majority of the game. But I thought Hannibal was superb. Obviously got the assist for the Brownhill goal, the first goal, and that was brilliant, by the way, from Hannibal and Anthony overloading that left hand side. And I think Anthony had the ball, played it to Hannibal, he crossed it in, Brownhill just prods it home. Good to see Steve get his first goal for the Clarets. And I tell you what, as critical as I've been for Zian Fleming and that miss, I actually thought Zian played well. He kept that ball alive then for that second one. And then obviously Steve, again, just prodded it home. Not two great goals today, two sort of like tap-ins really, but the build-up play were great in both of them. And does that count as a set-piece goal, by the way? Because didn't it come from a corner? I'm pretty certain it did. I should really start watching the highlights before I do this again. But yeah, I thought Zian did really well. I think it came from a corner and then it did come from the second phase, if I remember rightly. Apologies if I am wrong on that one. But I do think Zian played well. Put it this way, he played better than he did on Saturday. But that's not difficult really, is it? But yeah, I thought overall there were quite a lot of good performances in there. I don't think any of the subs did anything when they came on, and I feel like that was a shame because obviously Parker's bringing him on to try and impact the game. I don't feel like any of them did. I thought Loren was quite poor when he came on, gave the ball away too much. I thought Foster, you can just see. I've said it before, but he's low on confidence. You can see the fact that he cut that one back when you should be shooting yourself as a striker. There, he's 100% low on confidence. And like I said before, we just need one to go in off his arse or something like that, and then fingers crossed he can kick on from there. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and debate Foster again. But I don't think any of the subs impacted the game like we or Parker or even they would have wanted us to. Credit to Cardiff, they made it difficult in the last 30 minutes. The game should have been out of sight, to be fair. If Zian scores that one, like I said, it's a more comfortable second half for us, but I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't manage to stretch the play a little bit more. Cardiff were chasing that game, and we should have done more to stretch it in that last half an hour, but unfortunately we didn't do that. But ultimately it doesn't really matter. And another thing as well, both of them decisions, the foul, it is a foul, the referee doesn't give it as a foul, but the foul on Brownhill and the foul on Edwards, we should have had I've already said this in my 60-second review, but they are both penalty decisions, but we shouldn't have had two penalties because they were like a couple of minutes after each other, weren't they? So if the Brownhill one's given, the Edwards one doesn't materialise. But we should have had a penalty. I think the Brownhill one was a penalty. I've seen a lot of people saying that they thought the Edwards one was a lot more Stonewall. The replays I saw of the Edwards one, I do think it's a penalty, but they just were a little bit inconclusive in the sense that it wasn't a great camera angle, and I felt like there was always a man standing in the way from the ones that I saw. I do think it's a penalty, but I think both of them were. I was shouting for that Brownhill one in real time, and that second one I was like, I need to see it again. But then when I saw it again, I do think it's a penalty, but. Yeah, we just need needed a better camera angle. But if we're in the Premier League, I think both of them get given through VAR. Both of them get given. But yeah, a lot of negativity flying around again, as there always is. It's cool to hate these days, isn't it? It's cool to be angry about the performances. The last 30 minutes, admittedly, weren't great. But it's 3 points. The gap back to the top two is now 2 points. And ultimately, that's all that matters right now.